My God, wait, why am I not showing up? There I am! Alright. Oh God, my setup just loves to mess up my intros. Anyways, what's up, watchers? Welcome back. It's good to see you again. I am both distracted and sick right now, so you're gonna have to give me 1 second. I was literally texting my parents right before I went live, and then it's like, oh wait, there isn't as much time to my intro song as I thought there was. Oh gosh, sorry, gotta blow my nose. I swear to God, I can go all day not talking to people, and it's like, oh, my nose is clear. I'm basically not sick anymore. And then the second that I start talking, that's when my sinuses are like, oh fuck, we gotta fill up immediately. So, I hope you guys all had a nice Easter weekend. I definitely did. Ate a lot of pizza, ate a lot of turkey, ate a lot of chocolate, spent some time with my family, went dress shopping with my mom. It was really, really nice. 2 frames per second, Dr. Pepper babies. Oh no, is my shit lagging? Just a second. Okay, it's saying that I have excellent connection, so should be fine. Okay. There we go. Texts are sent. So we're good to go now. I won't be splitting my attention. I should also mention, I really need to get better at naming stuff on OBS and deleting stuff that I don't use anymore. Because, I have 2 different fake starting screens. One of them specifies Dr. Pepper babies. But it's also very different. Like, it's in a different spot from any other scene that I have. That is just one of my bullshit, like, hey, here's a weird scene I can cut to. I think the fake start screen that I actually went to instead was the one that I used for the Sims 3 murder stream, which that was like years ago now, and it blows my mind. What do you mean 2022 was 3 years ago? What do you fucking mean that's not recent? Anyways, I'm all over the place today. But yeah, so I had a very nice Easter weekend. The issue is, my brother came to it and he's like, yeah, so I've been having the sniffles, like, for the last, day or 2. And, yeah, just warning you. And I was like, oh, okay. It should be noted that my brother was my ride to get to my family's place for Easter. So, it was like, alright, well, I can't really do anything about that. So, I was just kind of sitting there the whole time, like, I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm sure I won't get sick. I mean, my immune system's a lot better in recent years than it's been in the past, I think. And hopefully we won't end up in a 2024 situation where it's like, oh, fuck, I'm sick again. God damn it. I swear to God, I was sick like 4 or 5 times over the span of 2024. It fucking sucked. But yeah, I was like, you know what? Now that I'm working out, like, outside of the house with, like, a lot more people, and I'm also, handling, like, water samples and stuff, like, my immune system's gotta be doing a little bit better, right? Well, I got home Saturday night, because we did our not Thanksgiving. I keep calling it Thanksgiving because my grandma made what's normally our Thanksgiving dinner, for Easter, because we didn't have, like, turkey and potatoes and all that for Christmas. But yeah, so it's like, we did Easter on Friday instead. So, I came back Saturday, I was like, yeah, I feel normal. Woke up on Sunday, yeah, I feel normal. I was like, I kind of have a dry patch in the back of my throat, but I've also been mostly drinking soda all weekend, so maybe that's why. Like, I've been drinking soft drinks pretty much exclusively. So it could just be, you know, I'm not drinking enough water, I'm a little dehydrated, whatever. I wake up Monday morning, and I'm like, ah, shit. I am actually getting sick. But it's not that bad. It's like, I have, like, a bit of the sniffles, and I have a sore throat. It's whatever. So, I go into work. Another thing, is that normally on Mondays, I have, like, a 6-hour, 6.5-hour drive. It got booted to Tuesday because a lot of places are closed for Easter Monday. My work isn't. But a lot of places, especially those that are run by the government, are. So it's like, I went on Monday, and it's like, oh, as the day goes on, I feel worse and worse. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I can't call in sick tomorrow. Because I'm the only one who can do that drive. And it's already been rescheduled once before. So I am stuck. I have to do it, even if I feel like shit. Uh-oh. And to make matters worse, so if you follow my Blue Sky, which I highly recommend, I made a post. Let me pull it up. I made a post on April 22nd at 2:04 a.m. And it just says, trying to sleep with an awful head cold was the secret 13th labor of Hercules. I wrote that post. It was the 4th time I had woken up that night since 10:15. Dying? Wait a second. Is that in relation to my, my story? Or is that the stream is dying? Because that could mean one of two things. And one of them is a lot scarier. In relation to story. Okay, good. For a second, I was like, oh god, it's all exploding. But yeah, so, that fucking post was made. I had woken up, it was for like the 3rd or 4th time that night. And every time that I woke up, my sinuses were getting, like, increasingly stuffed. After I made that post, I actually went and took a hot bath, solely to try and prevent it. At 5:30 in the morning, I woke up with a headache so fucking bad that I just could not fall back to sleep. So I'm like, alright, this is the condition in which I'm driving for 6.5 hours today. It ended up going alright. I made myself, because I don't have to bring a lunch on the days when I go on my 6-hour drive, because, unless I'm bringing just a sandwich, there's nowhere that I can heat up, you know, like a thing of spaghetti, or a casserole, or some kind of, like, stir-fry, or whatever. So I just don't bring a lunch on those days, and I just eat at, like, a fast food place, or, there are some diners in some of the little towns that I go through. 6.5 hours, yeah. I mean, technically I'm not driving the whole time. I do have to stop to drop things off and pick things up, as well as I stop for half an hour for my lunch break. But yeah, outside of that, it's all driving. It's honestly, usually, the best day of my week, because I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to worry about getting, like, procedures specifically right. I don't have to worry about things coming up last minute and forcing me to change tasks. I just throw on a podcast, or music, or an audiobook, or whatever the fuck I want to listen to that day, and I just go from point A to point B. It fucking rules. Like, my coworkers are great. However, I still am cursed with a god-awful social battery. So, it is very nice to have one day where it's like, okay, I basically only have to talk to people for, like, 2 hours. But yeah, so I ended up making myself a little, sick kit. I also learned that you can take Advil at the same time as Buckley's. So I was, like, spacing those out to keep my headache at bay. I did have to wear sunglasses the whole fucking day, though, because the issue with me when I get sick is, my eyes get really, really sensitive to light sometimes. And the fluorescent lights in the lab were killing me. So I was like, you know what, I don't care if I look stupid as fuck with my mask on and my sunglasses on. Like, I look like I'm in fucking witness protection. It's fine. This is how I'll survive the day. And what's funny is, I woke up on Wednesday morning. I had slept through the entire night. And that alone gave me enough hubris after fucking Monday night's absolute slog, because also, to finish up that thing, I woke up a total of 8 times in the span of it would have been actually less than 9 hours. It would have been like 7, considering I woke up for good at like 5:30. Awful. Awful. And then fortunately, I did take Wednesday off sick, and gained a brand new obsession in the form of Poké Rogue. I've been playing the shit out of that game. It was actually very funny because I played it for like most of the day on Wednesday. And then Tuesday at work, the whole day, I was like, oh fuck, I can't wait. I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna play more Poké Rogue, and then I'm gonna do productive stuff, but I want to play Poké Rogue. This is gonna be awesome. I get home, the servers are down, and I'm like, well, fuck. So I go, I do something else for a little bit. I open up the game again. It's working. I'm like, fuck yes, let's play. I play for like 20 minutes. The servers go down again. It's like, god damn it. The one thing I was looking forward to today. Poké Rogue taught me I'm not good at Pokemon. Same. Although I did manage to beat it today, but that was only because I got very, very lucky with the egg gacha. And my very first legendary was Zacian. And it's like, alright, thanks. I've been given a free win. Not really, though. What really got me the free win was also having a shiny Snorunt on the team that just upped my luck enough that I was able to get, like, I think it was like 3 Shell Bells and 1 Leftovers on Zacian, so it basically just couldn't die in 99% of encounters. And then the rest of my team was still good enough that I was able to take out the final boss. Ironically enough, if I didn't get a Gigalith with Sandstorm and was just too lazy to take Sandstorm off, if I hadn't gotten that Gigalith, or if I had taken Sandstorm off, I would have lost. Because my original plan was to go in and use Breloom Leech Seed, because I'd heard that Leech Seed was really good against the final boss. The boss outsped it, and immediately killed the Breloom. So I was like, okay, oh god, alright, improvise time, here we go. Oh man. Poké Rogue is so much fun. I highly recommend you guys check it out. I'm gonna be trying to get all the starters and all the egg moves and stuff, because it's just a really cool concept for a game. Also, that bit at the end where it implies that you're in a time loop, like, that's really cool. Speaking of time loops, hey, let's actually play the fucking game, huh? Or read the visual novel, in this case. I really need to, fucking start actually putting my money where my mouth is, because I've gone on extended rants with people. I don't know if I've done it on stream. I've gone on extended rants with people about how visual novels should not be considered video games, because it's actually a detriment to visual novels as, like, a form of media, because it gives people the wrong idea. It makes them think that, you know, oh, there's gonna be, like, some kind of action in this. It's like, no, it's a novel. It's got a visual component, but it's still a novel. You're still reading. That's what makes it good. Is that they have these visuals and the audio and stuff to enhance the story. All I'm learning is Meowth is a strong starter. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've never actually taken Meowth as a starter yet. My old go-to team was Axew with Dire Claw, which I got from an egg. Solosis with the egg move Mist Ball. And then usually some kind of, like, actual starter Pokemon. It was usually Mudkip, because Water Ground is a really goated typing. Issue is, I could never make it that far, and then I was looking up, like, oh hey, how do you actually get good at this game? And it was like, yeah, you just take a legendary and you just let it carry you for the entire game. And I was like, okay, noted, I can do that. I mean, that's not the main strat of the game, but it's like, this is how you grind the best. And to be honest, considering that I really actually enjoy grinding in video games, I feel like this game kind of scratches, like, the perfect itch in my brain. It also helps that it's purely browser-based, so I don't have to install anything. I don't have to be on a specific machine to play it. It's really good. Although, unfortunately, I did have to install Google Chrome on my laptop because of it, because that game does not like Firefox. Oh well. Anyways, we're not here to play Poke Rogue, though. Maybe someday. We're here to play Steins Gate. So let's fucking do some reading for Steins Gate. Oh, God, that's right. My freaking, I cranked this up when we were playing Disco that one time. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, last time, we started going down the Mayuri route instead. Which, so far, the biggest changes have been, Okabe hasn't... I mean, wait. The thing is, like, enough has happened since the last Steins Gate playthrough that I don't actually remember all of the events. I meant to, like, rewatch the last stream to kind of jog my memory because it has been a couple weeks. Guess who didn't do that? But basically, this is the same timeline as the bad ending, except things have changed enough that, first off, we don't have access to Amadeus anymore. That I do remember. Dr. Leskinen took it away because, he doesn't know that, one, we have Reading Steiner, and two, that Okabe is aware of, like, any plans or anything about time travel. So that already puts us in a much better position than last time. But, even so, I get the strange sense that this isn't gonna end well. But yeah, we're basically back to where we were last time, in the bad ending route, where Fubuki was brought back to the hospital, because they're doing more testing on the people with Reading Steiner. So I'm assuming this is going to play out very similarly to before, except Dr. Leskinen, I don't think is going to be as, like, generous, I guess is the right word. Because before he was like, oh yeah, man, just come to my university. You can come to my university anytime. Hey, dude, yo, you want to come to America? You want to come to Victor Conderay University? I have no ulterior motives, by the way. I feel like this time around he's gonna be like, hey, nice seeing you again. All right, bye. But we'll wait and see. All right. Fubuki was at a different location than before. This time it was the AH Tokyo General Hospital High-Tech Medical Center in Yoyogi. That is a mouthful of a name for a place. It was supposedly one of Japan's most advanced hospitals. According to what I read on the internet, patients with the new encephalitis that everyone was talking about were being gathered here for special treatment. But I'd also read lots of really bad urban legends about the place, and I was a bit worried about what kind of horror show I'd find there. But of course, when we arrived, it was nothing like that. It was very clean and decorated like a luxury hotel. Mayuri-chan! Hokari-san! Is it possible to skip? No. No, okay, so this is new. Kaede and Yuki waved to us as we entered the lobby. Yuki had gotten a message from Kaede as well, and had evidently come right over. Fubuki-chan! Yuki gave Mayuri a soft hug and smile. Kaede bowed her head apologetically. Okay, Vesta, you need to get away from the screen. Thank you. Mayuri looked extremely relieved as Yuki continued to hug her. If I remembered right, the last time they examined her, they said it was possible she had the disease, but as long as it didn't get worse, it wouldn't affect her daily life. They just told her to come back for regular checkups. Sorry guys, I gotta blow my nose again. Let me mute my voice real quick. Ugh. Like I mentioned in my announcement, I am mostly back to normal. Unfortunately, the operative word there is mostly. I'll probably be blowing my nose a lot. And I'm only gonna go as long as I feel I can, because I've also been getting a bit of a sore throat over the course of this sickness. It just hasn't been the main thing causing me issues. I do have a nice mug of tea here, though, so hopefully I can go for about as long as I usually do. Sure consume at least 2 to 3 times your weight in oranges. You know, the fucked up thing is, because I was sick, I kept putting off, like going to the grocery store and getting orange juice. Finally did it Wednesday evening. My voice sounded fucking horrible the whole day. Like, I was very close to losing my voice. I got orange juice, I had 1 glass, my voice went back to normal. Be sure to consume 2 to 3 times weight in someone else's orange. I honestly should have done that because I feel like I've mentioned this on stream before, but back in college there was like a really bad flu going around one year. And I was like, I've got end of year assignments that I need to finish. I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time to be sick. And then I ended up catching it anyways. I actually ended up going home from one of my classes because I had the chills so damn bad that I just, like, I could not focus on anything other than how fucking cold I felt. So I got home and I was like, alright, fuck that, we're not doing that again. Fortunately, I had just been home not long ago, and my grandma had given me, like, 2 2-liter cartons of orange juice, and I just had them in a mini fridge in my dorm. And I also had this tea called Immunity, and I was like, alright, here's what we're gonna do. So I just chugged 3 pots of that tea, and, both cartons of orange juice over the span of like 4 hours. By the next morning, I was barely sick anymore. I refer to it as nuking out the cold. Because I basically just bombarded my body with enough, like, vitamins and nutrients, I guess, that it was like, alright, time to kick this illness's ass. It's like, I've never done it again, even though it's worked for me the one time. We love overdosing on vitamin C. Yeah, that's basically what I did. I was like, you know what? Orange juice helps with a cold. This tea is supposed to help with a cold. So if I just drink a fuck ton of it, everything will be better. And somehow I was right. The new encephalitis had arrived in Japan over 6 months ago, but the number of patients was still increasing. Fortunately, there hadn't been a single casualty yet. I was certain that what they were calling encephalitis was actually something similar to reading Steiner. One time when I went to visit Fubuki in the hospital, I had secretly investigated the other patients. I wasn't able to get any proof, but I found out most of the patients in her wing had, to varying degrees, memories of the same world line. Many people had memories of Japan at war.
吹雪ちゃんに会えるかな。それがね、今 MRI で脳の検査をしている最中なんですって。だから病室にいないの。そうなんだ。
Helps that excess vitamin C gets flushed out of the body instead of being absorbed, so you're less likely to be poisoned from overdose. Exactly. It's like, of all the things you could potentially overdose on, vitamin C is like one of the most harmless, probably. Like, it doesn't do anything to you if you have extra.
でももう少しで終わるみたいよ。ここで待っていてって吹雪ちゃんのお母さんが。
Kaede motioned to Mayuri, indicating that she should sit down at a nearby sofa.
検査が終わったら声をかけてくれるみたい。
I let the girls sit down on the sofa and stood next to them while I surveyed the lobby.
すごい病院ですよね。
中瀬さんの家って実はすごい金持ちだったりするのか？こんなところに入院なんて。
いえ、そうじゃなくってですね。吹雪ちゃんのお母さんの話だと、日本とアメリカの政府がお金を出して新しい治療のプロジェクトを始めるみたいなんです。この病院とアメリカの専門病院や研究所が中心になってやるんだそうですよ。
Yes, because collaborations between the US and Japan have gone so well in this story so far. At least for our main cast.
そうなのか。
Good God. I wasn't sure how I felt about that. If I was right about what this disease really was, it was hard to imagine a bigger waste of money.
お願いします。患者は全員個室にしてください。それも患者同士が接触しないよう、なるべく離れた部屋で。
しかしね、そんな都合よく病床は空いていませんから。
それでもやってくれないとダメです。患者同士が会話をすることで夢の情報を共有してしまうでしょ
いや、それはそうですが。
脳というのはね、他人が見た夢なのにそれに共感を覚えてしまうと、あたかも自分が見た夢のように錯覚してしまう。そういう可能性だってあるのです。
What's up, you bastard? Across the lobby, I saw an old Japanese doctor in a white coat and a big man in a suit who was frantically trying to talk to him. I'd seen the man in the suit before. Actually, it was a man I knew well.
教授、レスキネン教授。
I hurried over.
レスキネン教授、俺です。岡部です。
He must have been wearing his translator because he was communicating with the old doctor in Japanese. Dr. Leskinen's face quickly broke into a smile when he saw me.
Oh, Rentaro!
His voice was so loud that everyone in the lobby, doctors, nurses, staff, and even the patients turned to look at me. But Dr. Leskinen didn't seem to notice them as he ran over. He was like a giant American football player racing for a touchdown.
うわ、ちょっと待ってください、教授。ストップ、ストップ。
My cries went unheard as Dr. Leskinen tackled me and then pulled me up. Then he switched from football player to pro wrestler and swung me up and down. I felt like I was a little child. There was nothing I could do to resist him as he flung me around. A moment later, he noticed the cold stares of the people around us and finally released me.
いやはや、すまない。あまりに驚いてはしゃぎすぎてしまった。
Dr. Leskinen bowed to the people around him and apologized.
レスキネン先生、この青年とはどういったお知り合いかな？
The doctor that Professor Leskinen had been talking to was staring at me suspiciously.
あ、その。
I wasn't sure exactly what to tell him. It wasn't like he was really my professor.
見たところまだ学生のようだが、どこの大学かね？ 教授と同じ脳科学専攻だとすると。
いえ、俺は。
彼は9月からビクトゥコンドリア大学の学生ですよ。いずれ私の研究室に来てもらうつもりでいます。
Okay, so this is staying the same. Alright.
おほう、ビクトル・コンドリア大学かね。これは驚いた。
That's some real ego Jozu right there? I don't know what that means, to be honest. I looked over at Dr. Leskinen questioningly, but he just gave me a mischievous smile. This guy... He really was such a kid.
日本人であそこへ行ける学生なんてめったにいない。大したものだ。
どうも。
After the doctor left, I sighed loudly enough for the Professor Leskinen to hear me.
今の人は？
この病院の院長だよ。
院長？そんな偉い人相手に堂々と嘘をついたんですか？
おや、私は嘘なんてついたかな？確かに9月から我が校の学生とは言ったが、何も今年の9月からとは言ってないよ。
Ah, I see.
それとも何かい？君は結局我が校に来る自信がないのかな？だったら少し残念だが。
He really was like a little kid, completely shameless. But still, it was hard to hate him. It's hard to hate him right now. You'll learn in a different timeline, Okabe.
でも驚きました。まさか教授がまた日本に来ているなんて。
It had been 5 months since I'd seen him off at Narita. I looked around for Maho, but I didn't see her anywhere.
ウィンタールはどこか具合でも悪いのかい？治療でここに？
いえ、違います。入院してる友人の見舞いで。
ああ、そうか。それはよか。いや、その友人にとっては良くないか。申し訳ない。
いえ。それで教授こそ日本の病院で何を？
Dr. Leskinen brought his face close to mine and whispered so that the people around us couldn't hear him.
君も知っているだろう。例の新型脳炎の件だよ。アメリカ政府の依頼で精神生理学研究所が治療法を研究していたんだが、手詰まりらしくてね。私も調査に加わるよう大学から命じられたというわけさ。
そうなんですか。レスキネン教授が新型脳炎を。
So this is staying true between the two timelines, which does make sense. I mean, I feel like Leskinen's group would have a vested interest in seeing what the fuck timeline these people are remembering, especially if it is like, oh hey, the Third World War started. Because, I mean, obviously every country is gonna want to get the upper hand on that situation. Now there was a word I didn't expect to hear. I explained that my friend was here because they thought she might have the disease.
もしかしてその友人というのは中瀬克美？
クリスマスパーティーで会ってましたね。
実は私が新型脳炎に興味を持ったのもあのパーティーがきっかけでね。君と克美が揃って倒れただろ？
He was right, actually. In my case, I'd been sent to that other world line.
克美には何日か前に再会したんだけどね。私にも何度か噛みついてきたよ。どうしてまた入院させられるんだ？私は元気なのにってね。
そうでしたか。
もう少し協力的になってくれると嬉しいと。 リンタロウからも伝えておいてくれないかい。
はあ、
実際のところキャツミだけでなく全ての患者に申し訳ないという気持ちはあるんだ。
See, now that I know that you're an asshole, it makes it harder for me to believe lines like these.
我々も日本の医師団も研究を進めてはいるんだけどね。どうにも解せない検査結果ばかりで困り果てているのさ。
Dr. Leskinen's usually chipper expression darkened. But he's got such a great smile. Yeah, evil people can have great smiles too. Ah, no, I missed the line. The man was such a ball of vitality that I hadn't noticed until then, but when his smile disappeared, I could see the wrinkles that had formed on his face from exhaustion. He must have been working hard, like he said. To be honest, none of the doctors thought we'd have this much trouble explaining it at the start. I had to read out that one because, I broke the voice acting, I guess. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, huh? I did just break the game. Okay, cool. Let's, boot up Steins Gate 0 again, I guess. But he looks like $1,000,000 all green and wrinkly. Yeah, everything's broken. Everything is busted. Everything's as bad as it could possibly be. Everything is busted. I am screaming in my dreams. Someday I need to just play that video for the chat. Like, I do have an upcoming stream idea. Okay, the thing is, yeah, I can't skip, so I'm gonna have to just...
Mayuri-chan, こっちです。
Okay, we'll just spam through this until we get back to where we were.
大丈夫だよ。驚かせ
というと、
今、
じゃあ、
はい。なんだ。はあ、よかった。
If I just hold
あれ
space.
は病気なんかじゃないと思うけどな。
That doesn't work. In the meantime, chat, how have your days been?
でももう少しで
I
終わ
hope
り
you
みたい
guys
検査が
enjoyed
終
the
わった
long
ら
weekend,
声をかけてく
whether
れ
you
るみたい。
celebrate Easter or you don't.
すごい。い
中瀬さんの家。
え、
Also, I feel like
そうじゃなくってですね。
a bit on my end. It's just a
吹雪ちゃん、
little
こ
too
の
loud
病院
whenever there's like voice acting in the background.
お願いします。
しかし、
それで
いや、
Alright.
脳というのはね、他人が見た夢なのに。
あ、教授、レスキネン教授、俺です。
Oh,
At a 90s themed
Rintaro!
birthday with a giant Lisa Frank cake?
うわ、
That's
ちょ
awesome.
ちょっと待ってください、教授。ストップ、ストップ。
Did you know that this is a work of fiction and not based on someone's real life experience?
いやはや、
Yeah, I think
すまない。
I think after opening the game a solid 20 times, I...
見たところま、
いえ、俺は。
Yeah, I think I've gathered as much.
ほうほう。ビク
But
ト
yeah,
ル・ポンドリア
that sounds
大
like an
学
awesome
かな。
party under this
これ
asset.
は日本人。
今
この病院。
院長、そんな偉い人は。
おや、確かに、それとも何かい？君、
でも驚きました。まさか
Okay.
リンタロウは。
あ、いえ。
ああ、そうか。
We're almost there.
いや、
あ、いえ。それで教授こそ日本。
君も知って、アメリカ政府の私も。
そうなんですか。レスキネン教授が。
もしかして。
あ、
Had an uneventful but pretty
実
relaxed
は
Easter.
君
Oh,
と
yeah.
克美が揃って倒れただろう。克美に
そう。
もう少し。
ああ。
実際のところ我々も日本の医師団も正直
There we go.
最初はどの医師も これほど不可解な病気だとは思っていなかったらしいんだけどね。
Okay, I'm gonna save now, just in case. Okay, we're good.
どうしたんだ、リンタロウ。
あ、その、
何か気になることでも？
いえ、俺は医学生じゃないのでさっぱりです。
I was just about to tell him about my reading Steiner. Don't fucking do that! But in the end, I couldn't. If my uninformed opinion was wrong, it could cost the encephalitis patients their lives. I couldn't just tell him when I didn't have any proof. And then his face drew close to mine again.
ところで、その克美がなかなか興味深いことを言っていたんだよ。
Uh-oh.
自分たちは病気じゃない。別の世界の出来事を夢で見る能力があるだけだ。とかなんとか。
I told her not to say anything about it. Could she not help it? This was bad. They might start to doubt her sanity.
中瀬さんはそのとても想像力がたくましいというか、
Either I have iron.
アニメとか
I don't
大
think
好
I've
きで
seen
す
you
か
in
ら、
chat before. Welcome to the stream.
他の平行世界を感知できる力なんて多分趣味の影響で口にしただけじゃないかと思います。実は俺もそういうことを言っていた時期があるんですよ。
You sure did. And then it became real. I tried my best to come up with excuses, but Dr. Leskinen still seemed concerned.
だけどね、私も治療プロジェクトに参加して驚いたんだが、確かにこの病の特徴として多くの患者が夢を共有する不可思議な現象が起こっているんだ。
I have insomnia and I wander this far into the YouTube algorithm. Well, hey, I'm glad it brought you here. And hopefully I can kind of help with the insomnia, even if it is by being so fucking boring that you fall asleep. I mean, I say that, but then again, I fall asleep to stream VODs all the freaking time, so... Speaking of stream VODs, I have to catch up on one my friend Valkyrie did yesterday. All about, like, decorating fight sticks. I saw the announcement whenever it was, like, posted in the Discord at like, 11. And I was like, ah, shit, I'm gonna have to catch that one. And then, unfortunately, I got playing Pokemon Rogue. And by the time I remembered about the stream, it had just ended. I was so pissed off at myself. It's like, come on! I couldn't have set an alarm. I know myself. Why did I just think that I'd remember? Anyways.
集団幻覚に近いのかとも思って今調べているんだけどね。
Stream spoilers that involved art. Ah, fuck. How dare you? How dare you spoil me? Steins Gate is one of my favorite anime ever. So cool. Hell yeah. I've still gotta watch the actual anime. I've pretty much only played the visual novels or read through the visual novels. Which I feel like isn't how a lot of people get introduced to this anime. Or to this, like, series, I guess. Actually, it's the exact opposite to how I got interested in Danganronpa. Where, like, most people get into Danganronpa through the games. And then I watched the 13-episode anime and was like, well, that was pretty okay. Hey, there's apparently, like, a game based off of the sequel to this. Let's just watch a fucking YouTube video where someone is playing the Japanese version, reading out a fan-made translation. And this is how I'm going to consume, like, the rest of this series. At least, that's what I thought at the time. It was, yeah, because this was before the official translation of Danganronpa 2 came out. Oh boy. Much like Fate fans, just play the VN. Oh man, I don't even know where I'd get started with Fate. Like, there is so much to that franchise. I feel like I just wouldn't even know where to start, and I'm also the dumbass that can't even get through like a 12-episode anime in a reasonable amount of time. You know, I heard they made a show off of this game. They sure did. Hi, Oliver. Oliver Frankel? You're also new around here. I haven't seen your name before. Welcome. But yeah, I need to watch the Steins Gate anime at some point. And maybe get into Fate. Fucking at some point. My VN-loving ass would absolutely love Fate, I'm sure, but like I said, it's just figuring out where to get into the series.
でもなんだろう、こんなことは初めてでね。脳科学的には今のところ解が導けない。正直非科学的という言葉が一番しっくりくるくらいだよ。それこそ平行世界とか前世の記憶とかね。
Yeah, all that's totally not real. You definitely don't have to worry about it, and you definitely don't have to torture anybody about it.
そうですか。
君も克美からいろいろと話を聞いてくれると助かるよ。医者に言えないことでも友人になら話すだろうしね。
はい、一応心がけておきます。
さて、リンタロウ、それはそれとして確認だ。
Oh? Dr. Leskinen was looking over my shoulder.
クリスマスパーティーの時にも感じたんだけれど、君のガールフレンドたちはキュートなお嬢さんばかりだね。
Fate may be mitigated by some outdated viewpoints, but they're set by some of the most wildly outclassed characters. Alright. Interesting.
え？
I turned around and saw that Mayuri, Kaede, and Yuki had all stood up from the sofa and were looking at me. When they saw Dr. Leskinen was looking at them, they waved.
やはりあの中に恋人がいたりするのかい？ユキ、カエデ、マユリ、ルカ、それともカツミがそうなのかな？
Also, Fate watch list to catch up on everything. Fate visual novel, that's it. That's it? Aren't there like 20 different animes? Can you just skip all of them? These words were so surprising I couldn't think of anything to say. Maha would often call this middle-aged man a mischievous boy, and that was exactly the look he had on his face.
いや、別に無理に聞かせてくれとは言わないよ。君のプライベートを詮索する気はないか
So
ら
the
ね。
family-friendly version is now on Steam. Noted. I'm not gonna say that that's gonna be the next thing that I do on the channel because, well, we've been on Steins Gate 0 for like a year because of the hiatuses and the general bullshittiness of life. After this, it's like I do want to do something a little bit smaller, but maybe someday. Because I have also considered Umineko on stream, but I feel like that one's even longer than Steins Gate 0. So, especially now that Sunday's the only day that I'm streaming and I'm sharing that spot with Disco Elysium, I really don't want to start anything like too big just yet. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe once work calms down again, maybe I'll be able to do Wednesday streams again. We'll have to wait and see because, yeah, it's definitely not calming down anytime soon.
ただまあ可愛い教え子にちょっとした土産話をと思っただけさ。
Dr. Leskinen turned to walk away before I could figure out what he meant.
それじゃリンタロウ、私はもうちょっと院長と話をしないといけないからこれで。
Picking the two franchises with words counts rivaling Wheel of Time. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm hesitant to do Umineko on stream, because I feel like I'd have a better time with it. Like, on one hand, it'd be great to do it on stream solely so this way I can look back and see, like, my original predictions on the plot, because I know nothing about Umineko. I know that witches are involved, and you're in a mansion out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of other people. Would you do the Oblivion remake? Val said you might be interested in it since you've been playing a lot of Skyrim. Potentially. Skyrim I play a lot of because it's a game that's just so familiar to me. I played it a lot whenever it first came out back in, like, 2011, 2012. I was playing it on the PS3. It was kind of my go-to game after school for a little bit. So it's kind of just like a comfort game at this point where I just go back into it to fuck around. I'd consider doing, you know, maybe a stream or two of Oblivion. That's the other thing. It's like, I have some, like, longer running things on the channel that I really want to get back to. Specifically Lobotomy Corporation. I legitimately... Hi, Kima. Hi, Novella. Your model is super cool. Bye, Novella. Well, thank you. It's good to see you, even if it was only for a brief moment. Speaking of, did you know someone made an Oblivion mod that is just Discworld? Hell yeah. Now, wait a minute. Are you saying that it's a mod that basically adds Discworld to Oblivion? Or are you talking about the Oblivion mod that Terry Pratchett himself helped out with? Because, I'm interested in both of them. But one I could do a stream off of and the other I don't think. The entire world? Okay! Fuck, I've got to get back to reading Discworld too. I started reading Raising Steam. I'm so sorry to the new people here. I've immediately gone off on like 20 different tangents. This is what the streams are like, but also it's not the first impression I wanted to give you guys. But yeah, my Discworld reading kind of got stalled for a bit because, it's been a decade or so, but who knows where. Oh man. But yeah, it's like, So, one thing that should be noted about me with Discworld. My first favorite character is Death, because of course it is. My second favorite character is Moist Von Lipwig. I love that shitty con man so goddamn much. He is just so fun to watch. He is just a fun protagonist. And, Going Postal is like one of my favorite books of all time. That book is so fucking good. Even if you're not into Discworld, I recommend reading that book. It's just a fun time. So I read Going Postal. Fucking loved it. I read Making Money, which is the sequel to Going Postal. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. Like, I don't think it didn't give me the same, like, oh, holy shit feeling that the climax of Going Postal did, but it was still a super fun time, and Mr. Bent was a really fun character. So then I was, like, trying to find Raising Steam for the longest time. Because my library didn't have it, like, didn't have it listed on the app or anything. Just could not get it for me. And then I couldn't find it in any bookstore around here. And then for Christmas, I ended up actually getting the book, and I'm like, okay, cool. So, I finished reading, because I got a bunch of Discworld books for Christmas. I finished reading Jingo, had fun with that one, and then I was like, alright, you know what? I was gonna save this one for last, but let's read Raising Steam, so I can see the end of Moist's story. I don't like how that book is written. You just bought Raising Steam last month? Oh no. We love Discworld. We look Discworld books. We also love Discworld books, but we love discount books. Just bought Raising Steam last month. I will say, just because I didn't enjoy it, like, you may still enjoy it, but, like, what I found with the book is that it doesn't have the main thing that I really enjoy from Discworld, which are, the conversations between two characters, and how characters will, like, play off of each other. I think Terry Pratchett does a really good job with dialogue in a lot of his books. And I love seeing how these very different characters all interact with one another. Raising Steam, the dialogue feels less like two people like playing off each other, and more like they're just talking at each other because the audience needs information. And it's like, there really isn't any solid conflict. At least in the bit that I've read. I've read, like, I think a little over the first third of it. And so far, there hasn't really been any real conflict. It's just been, hey, let me show you how the train system in Discworld gets set up. And it's like, okay, that's cool. But also, I want to see my funny guy. I want to see my funny guy do his bullshit. And there's like none of that in this book. There's like one moment so far where Moist does something like clever and fun. And it's like at the very tail end of the third that I have read. And it's like, oh, it sucks. Funny enough, feels like it was meant as a movie script template. You know what? You do have a point. It does kind of come across that way. Huh. Which would be especially interesting because, like, there really aren't that many Discworld movies. So it would have been interesting to see this in movie form. Maybe it would have been more compelling in that sense. But, yeah, as it is, like, it was enough that I'm like, because I don't like leaving books unfinished. This was at the time when a lot of his stuff was getting adapted. Ah, fair enough. And I do know that this was, like, the second to last book that he ever wrote. And he had been diagnosed with, like, early onset dementia. So it's like, that probably also didn't help. But yeah, it's just been, like, it completely killed my tempo when it came to the Discworld books. Like, before I was reading, like, one every 2 weeks to a month. I have not finished a Discworld book since January. It sucks. I've got to get back to it. Now, I did actually pick up a copy of Going Postal when I was visiting some friends in a different city back in March. So I've been slowly whittling away at that one. It is a reread, but I am enjoying it. Going Postal is just a good book. Like, so far, I think my favorite Discworld books have been Going Postal, Monstrous Regiment, because that book has just so much going on with it, like, thematically. It's like, oh, it's kind of a pastiche on Mulan, except it's also a criticism of war, except it's also an exploration of traditional gender roles, except it's also about how, like, how people sort of maintain oppressive systems. I'm looking for a copy of Thud so I can get my favorite Vimes line. That's fair. Oh god, I need to keep reading that too. Monstrous Regiment was peak. Monstrous Regiment is such a good fucking book. Yeah, it's Going Postal, Monstrous Regiment, and Feet of Clay. Feet of Clay single-handedly had me stay up until 3 a.m. one morning because I just couldn't put the book down. It was too good. And speaking of the Night Watch stuff, I also have the Fifth Elephant and Night Watch. And I need to get through both of those soon because the glorious 15th of May or whatever is coming up. And it's like everyone's gonna be posting about Night Watch and I've been trying so hard to avoid spoilers. I'm not gonna be able to look at Discworld fan art anymore if I don't fucking finish those books. You seem to be very passionate about fiction. Are you a writer yourself? I am. I haven't, like, published anything or posted anything really outside of, like... Actually, even my old fanfics are taken down at this point. I did that back on Impulse when I was 18, and now I regret it so goddamn bad because I want to go back and look at the fucking comments, and I can't. Because my dumbass was like, oh, I'm gonna be writing fanfic again, so let's have a clean slate. And then I never wrote fanfic again. Anyways, but yeah, my goal in life is to end up making VNs of my own, so that's part of the reason why I like reading through so many. I like seeing how other people sort of use the medium. Although, admittedly, I haven't read as many of the classics as I should have. Like, I know the full story of Higurashi. I listened to videos of it whenever I was at my old job. Because I was like, I don't have the time right now. I don't have the time to go through this right now. I do need to read through all of Higurashi myself, though. Haven't gone through Umineko. What are some other big ones? Like, Fate's a big one. I'm sure there's another, like, big VN series that I'm just forgetting about. One that's, like, really popular. That everyone's like, okay, yeah, this is, like, go-to. Like, this is recommended reading for anyone who likes VNs. And I can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, it's like I have played a few on the channel. ReZero. Is that a VN? Did that start as a VN? The moral of Higurashi is a true friend will help you bury the body. You're not wrong. Although it's more like a true friend will make it so you never have to bury the body. I think ReZero was a light novel. Ah, fair enough. Either way, it's like, I have a friend who's really into ReZero. I need to watch the anime, or read the light novel, or do anything with that franchise, because I'm just... What I need to start doing is... I think it has a VN as well? Okay, noted. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, if you guys do have any suggestions for VNs that I can read, even if I don't do them on the channel, it's good depression? Hell yeah. But yeah, it's like, I've gotta stop watching YouTube while I eat and just watch anime. Eat anime. I'm going to consume it directly. I've gotta print out every episode of this anime I like frame by frame and eat it. No, I'm going to have to start watching anime while I eat instead of watching YouTube. But the thing is that I finally got into, like, oh, I should, like, watch episodes of, like, TV shows and stuff while I eat instead of fucking YouTube videos about Pokemon. Because then maybe, just maybe, I can actually talk with my friends about anime for the first time in years. And then I immediately started rewatching Transformers Animated instead. because why? Why not, I guess? Transformers Animated is a very fun show, though. It's, like... It's one of those things where I hesitate to recommend it to people because it does feel very kiddie in the beginning. And, I mean, it is a fucking kid show. Like, I'm not gonna say that it's fine literature, but it's just so much goddamn fun. Digimon Survive just got into playing that VN. You know what? I've never actually, like, consumed any kind of Digimon media. I should get on that. Like, I had a friend back in elementary school who was, like, she's the one who got me into Pokemon, and then she got really into Digimon. And I was like, well, I already have one obsession, so I'm never looking at anything Digimon in my life. I was already just, like, so fucking fixated on Pokemon that I'm like, nah, I don't have time for a second one of these. Alright, anyways, we've been on this screen for like, what, 20 minutes? I'm supposed to be actually reading this.
できればユキたちにも一人一人ハグしていきたいところだったが、次回にとっておこう。彼女たちによろしく。
You should watch Toradora or Diabolic Lovers, some old good gems, not mainstream. Fair enough, fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. 20 minutes, hardly a record. Sad to say that you're probably right.
はい。
Mayuri and the others came over to me as I watched him go.
今の人レスキネ先生
Seconding Toradora? Okay, in that case, I'm going going to make myself a note. Also, I'm going to blow my nose again because, good God, this cold just will not leave me alone. Ugh. There we go. Should get better soon. I'm hoping. I mean, I am basically back to normal. Definitely a hell of a lot better than I felt last Tuesday and Wednesday. It's just, there's still just enough bad that it's, also, I don't know if my earbuds are fucking up or if the audio got crunchy. I think my earbuds might be fucking up. God, I gotta blow my nose again. No! I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. I think I'm finally good again. Oh boy. As mentioned at the beginning of the stream, it's like I'll be fine for an entire day. No problems whatsoever. And then the second I start talking to someone, my nose just decides to get completely stuffed for no reason. It's driving me insane. Alright. Back to the VN.
ですよね。どこかで見たことあると思った。アメリカに帰ったんじゃなかったでしたっけ？おかりん？
There was no way I could tell the girls what Dr. Leskinen and I were just talking about. After Fubuki's exam was over, we went to her room and listened to her complain, and then the visit was over. Just like Dr. Leskinen had said, she looked just fine. She told us she was ready to leave the hospital and jog all the way home. Now, I can't remember because it has been a bit since we got the bad ending. Also, love that one of these is for Chaos Child. Awesome. Hey, wait, that's Corpse Party! I just recognized that! Up on the top left. That's Corpse Party, isn't it? Eating a bowl of instant noodles at 1 in the morning. How far gone am I? Not that far gone. I've definitely done that. Especially back when I was unemployed, because whenever I don't have a job to keep me in check, my go-to sleep cycle is fall asleep at 4 in the morning and wake up at 10. 10 or 11 or noon. But yeah, I never noticed these before. But yeah, also, I don't remember from the original ending, or the bad ending. Didn't we get a scene with Fubuki? I could have sworn that we did. And we, like, talked to her about the whole reading Steiner thing. Unless I'm thinking of, like, earlier on in the game? Like, maybe it was before the timeline change. I'm employed, I should go to sleep soon. Damn. Yeah. I mean, I understand the insomnia thing, though. I mean, I had that just, last Tuesday, actually. Or no, last Wednesday. Because, as it turns out, when you just, sit in bed all day, and then also take a 2-hour nap at 5 o'clock in the evening, your body, at 11 o'clock at night, will go, no, we don't have to sleep yet. We basically slept all day. Now we can stay awake forever. Maybe it'll come back to you if you put it down for a month. No! I mean, depending on how things go with disco, I might end up doing that, but I don't wanna. We've been on this one for a while now. Let's watch some random YouTube. I do find what helps me the most whenever I can't sleep is I just put on something and try to focus like 100% of my brain power to that thing. Like, I refuse to let my mind wander, And then eventually I drift off. It depends though, because I tried doing that Wednesday night and it didn't fucking work. It's like, this is why I have like 3 different playlists that I sleep to. One of them is stream VODs, one of them is YouTube videos to sleep to, and one of them is Yume Nikki music. And depending on the night, simply brew some midnight coffee. No! No, don't! I'm sure that works for somebody out there. But that seems like bad advice. Anyways. Mayuri and the others were relieved, but I felt worried. Did I need to talk to Dr. Leskinen about reading Steiner after all? No, you don't! It's me, I'm somebody. I don't know why I'm not surprised to hear that. That just tracks for you from what I've seen in your messages. But how would I explain it? It might be a better idea to talk to Maho and have her explain it to him. That's also a bad idea. I couldn't come to an answer right away. We said goodbye to Kaede and Yuki at one of the stations on the way back. Before we got to Ikebukuro, I remembered to take out my phone and open the web browser. I went to @channel, eager to see how she'd responded to the bait I'd spread this afternoon. Oh. I put my hand over my mouth to stifle the noise. Oh, right, we're outing an AI for being a Redditor as well. Mayuri had been standing next to me and she was leaning over at my screen. I fished her up all right. I didn't think it would go this well. The timestamp was from just 30 minutes ago. It was Fitzgerald and Lawrence who based their hypothesis off that experiment. Einstein himself said that it had nothing to do with his theories. You don't even know that? How ignorant are you? I decided to respond immediately using the same name, Salieri's neighbor. You're the ignorant one. In a letter written before his death, Einstein said he was aware of Michelson and Morley's experiments. I posted and then reloaded the thread. There was already a response from her. I know that. Duh. All he said was that he knew of the experiment, obviously. The time lag between the posts was just 21 seconds. It was kind of irritating to have her come after me so hard. It was as if she was insulting me as a person. Oh, the days of pressing F5 on message boards. Yeah, the days of being like 12 or 13. You're on like a fan forum and you post something and you're like, oh, I wonder how everyone's gonna react to this, and you just sit there and hit refresh like once every minute, waiting for someone to respond. Oh man, I miss forums. Like, Discord is good in its own right, but like, there's something special about, like, oh, I'm gonna post here, and then maybe I'll check back in like half an hour to see if anyone's responded. Like, it felt less like you had to respond right away and more like, oh yeah, I'll post this, I'll go do something else, then when I come back, the conversation will have continued. It was just like, I guess, low effort isn't the right word. Neither is low stakes. Low commitment, I guess, is what forum chats are. Old League forum. See, the forum that I used to use when I was younger was the Warrior Cats one. Honestly, the Warrior Cats forum, without it, I probably wouldn't be here as a streamer right now. Because, people I met on that forum are the ones who introduced me to anime, who got me using YouTube, who got me, like, using other websites like fanfiction.net, which is where I started writing. Actually, I started writing on the Warrior Cats forums, actually. Oh god, I forgot about that. The first thing I ever fucking wrote and posted anywhere, I typed it on my iPod Touch's Notes app, which did not have any kind of autocorrect, and I just copied and pasted it directly onto the forums. Like, whenever I had any kind of, like, Wi-Fi connection, which was usually when we went to McDonald's. It was so scuffed. The worst part is that because I wouldn't format it, it would all just be one big chunk of text. Because for some reason, like if I added an extra line between like a paragraph, the Warrior Cats forums would just immediately remove that. And I just never bothered to add them back in myself. That was also the fanfiction where I took a character death from in the main story, and I was like, well, if it was really sad when it happened to this character in the actual story, clearly it'll be sad if it happens to one of my OCs, right? Oh boy, the joys of being 12 years old on the internet. It's the fact that I plagiarized a death from the thing that I was, one, making a fanfic on, and two, that the entire forum that I was posting to was well aware of. Why did I do that, and why did I get away with doing that? Oh man, maybe that's why I miss forums so much. You could just kind of do fucking whatever on them and it didn't matter. Alright, back to this. Well, I was the one who deliberately written in mistakes, so I should have expected it. You just can't let anyone else win, can you? I see you haven't changed a bit. Are you Mozart? The thread's other residents were probably confused. Everyone except for her. Mayuri had been watching our exchange and looked at me confused.
知り合いなの？その栗ご飯とカメハメハさんって。
まあな。多分古くから付き合いのあるやつだと。
Now then, how would she reply to the nickname Salieri's neighbor in the post I just wrote? I was curious, but there wasn't an immediate response like before. The train reached Ikebukuro Station.
おかり、着いたよ。
The train slid into the station and stopped. I reloaded the thread one more time before the doors opened. And there was a very short response from Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha. Who are you? There could be no doubt now. This Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha was Kurisu. Found ya! Oh. Hello, Suzuha. It was a very hot day in 1998 when Suzuha said goodbye to Kagari Shina. She'd gone to get food and water from a local store, and when she'd come back and opened the hatch, Kagari was inside screaming. Oh, we've seen this one too. Okay, I think you're... For a second, your post kind of confusing, but I think it auto-corrected. But yeah, it does introduce pieces of weeb culture. It's really good. She looked inside and saw that Kagari was slamming her tiny hands down on the control console.
お前、何をしてるんだ?
I wonder if this scene is going to go a little bit differently. Like, I'm assuming it won't, because this takes place in the past. Kagari shrank back when she saw Suzuha. I don't know, should I skip this scene? Because we have already seen this.
これは、その... 答えろ。
It's like I remember most of this. It auto-corrected, fair enough.
目を覚ましたら鈴葉お姉ちゃんがいなくて真っ暗で明かりもつかないし狭くて怖くて苦しくてだからかがりドアを開けたくてそれであちこちいじってるうちにこんなことに
Kagari started to cry.
ごめんなさい鈴葉お姉ちゃんごめんなさいでも本当に怖かったんだだからそうか
Suzuha relaxed her guard. Kagari had PTSD from her time as a war orphan, and she hadn't fully recovered yet. Mayuri had once told her that she got very frightened in dark and cramped places. It would make sense if waking up in the dark caused a panic attack. And the time machine could only function with Suzuha's biometric authorization. Someone of Kagari's size wouldn't be able to break the console either.
お前は時間移動のショックで気を失ってたんだよ。だから休ませておいたんだけど、悪かった。
Suzuha grabbed one of Kagari's tiny hands to help her up, then led her outside the machine.
暑い。カガリ、約束するんだ。どんなことがあっても操縦席のスイッチに触ったりするな。いいな。じゃあ、私は仕事にかかるから、お前はその辺で休んでるんだ。飲み物と食べ物は適当に食べていい。
Suzuha handed Kagari the provisions she'd bought, then went inside and poked her head into the cargo space under the control console. She connected the IBN 5100 she'd stored there to a portable terminal she'd brought from the future. By all appearances, it was an early 2000 cell phone, but inside it was a miniaturized quantum computer from the year 2036. Of course, future Daru had made it himself. When she booted up the IBN 5100, rows of numbers started to appear on the screen.
何をするの？
Kagari was looking in from outside the machine.
2000年問題は勉強したか？施設の学校でちょっとだけ。結局何にも起こらなかったんでしょ？表向きはね。公表されてないけど、実は当時あれのせいでいくつかの地域や国に深刻な問題が起きたんだ。そうなの？問題だったのはこの IBN5100 というコンピューターなんだよ。これには古いプログラム言語が搭載されてるんだけど、そのプログラムの問題点を技術者たちが修正できなかった。というより、そんな言語で書かれた重大なプログラムが存在すること自体全く知られてなかった。第三次世界大戦はタイムマシンの開発競争が発端なんだけど、もしかすると2000年問題で発生したある事象とそれに付随する対立こそがもっと深い原因である可能性がある。
She didn't expect a 10-year-old like Kagari to understand this, but she didn't feel like taking the time to explain.
しかも西暦2000年というのは特殊な年でね、全ての世界線が一旦一つに収束してしまうらしいんだ。それに関連してこの問題があらゆる世界線の因果に重大な影響を引き起こすかもしれない。私たちが目指してる狭間の世界線、シュタインズゲートも例外じゃない。
She looked down at the terminal connected to the IBN 5100.
だからこれは2000年問題を起こさないようにするための修正プログラムなんだよ。
Right now, the terminal was converting the patch into the language used by the IBN 5100. The next step was to spread this program all around the world in the form of a virus, and the year 2000 problems that this era's engineers missed would completely disappear. The word connect appeared on the terminal's subscreen.
OK。つながった。
She'd been told that in Japan in this era, ADSL was still in the test phase, and most normal users connected to the internet by low-speed dial-up using ISDN. I think we've already unlocked these tips, haven't we? Oh, okay, this. Residents. Regular users of a service. Primarily refers to frequent commenters on anonymous internet message boards. And Imakita Industries. Net slang, it's used to mean, I just joined this thread and I'm not sure what's going on. Can someone explain it to me in 3 lines or less? A play on the Japanese words, Imakita Sangyo, which can mean either I just got here, give me 3 lines, or Imakita Industries. Interesting. ADSL, Asymmetric Digital Subscriber Line. A type of internet connection, ADSL uses telephone lines for high-speed data transmission. In the early 2000s, these quickly replaced ISDN as the de facto method of connecting to the internet. But in the later part of the decade, FTTH services using fiber optics became more popular, and the number of ADSL users has declined ever since. And then ISDN is an integrated services digital network, a completely digital network that used digital exchanges, relays, and subscriber lines. It was far faster than the analog lines that were originally used by dial-up internet services, but use massively decreased after the introduction of the faster ADSL. Very interesting. But in major city areas like Akihabara, universities, labs, and some big computer companies were starting to use fiber optic broadband. Some of them were even using wireless LANs. Suzuha cracked her way into one of those. Dad had laughed when he'd said that with 2036 technology, cracking late 20th century network security was a joke, but he'd been right.
でも未来を変えちゃったら、かがりたちがいた未来の世界も全然変わっちゃうんじゃないの?
Surprisingly, Kagari had gotten the gist of what Suzuha had just told her.
そういうことだ。もうあの世界は存在させない。私たちは
And this is
シュ
where
タ
it
イン
all
ズゲー
goes
トを目
wrong.
指すためにここへ来たんだから。
Can you just explain to the child that you're doing this to prevent a war? Just say it straight up. Suddenly, the uneasy look on Kagari's face vanished. It was as if her soul had left its body. Suddenly, her face was expressionless, and her eyes were wide.
声。
Oh, wait a second. Right, because we learned earlier in this timeline that Kagari hears this voice sometimes.
神様の声聞こえる。
They really were fucking with her brain, even at this fucking age.
かがり？ダメだよ。よくないよ。ダメなんだよ、鈴葉お姉ちゃん。そんなことしちゃいけないんだ。おい。
Kagari was acting strangely. Suspiciously, Suzuha reached her hand out towards her. But she slipped past Suzuha's hand, and quicker than any child should be able to move, she slammed her shoulder straight into Suzuha's body. Suzuha was caught completely off guard. That's how fast it was. Kagari's shoulder hit her in the solar plexus. She bent over and collapsed onto the seat. Kagari tore the terminal out of Suzuha's hands. The cables connecting it to the IBM 5100 were ripped out, and errors displayed on both screens.
お前、何を?
Kagari didn't answer the question. Instead, she grabbed the backpack that Suzuha had placed on the seat and spilled its contents onto the floor. There were MREs, spare parts, clothes, and a semi-automatic pistol. Suzuha couldn't believe it. Kagari was going to try and pick it up.
やめろ!
She forced herself to ignore the pain as she jumped on Kagari's body. But another unbelievably powerful body slam knocked her back. And now's your chance to get shot. Something cold was pushed right up against her brow.
動いちゃダメ.
Kagari's tiny hands weren't shaking at all as they clutched the semi-automatic pistol. So, seeing this again, and seeing the context of that one future scene, was Kagari always meant to be sort of like a mole? Like, was she basically just conditioned to be a child soldier? Or was was all of this, was the hearing the voice of God and stuff, because somehow future CERN found out that Suzuha would be going to the past, and they wanted to make sure that there was something going with her that could stop her. That's my one question at this point. Or, well, one of many questions, but, like, the main one upon seeing this. In the space of an instant, the safety on the gun had been flipped off. That's when Suzuha realized that this wasn't just a temper tantrum. Suzuha was the one who taught her how to use a gun. Okay, no, never mind. That answers that. I guess, kind of, but, like, not really, even. Yeah, because my main question is mostly, like, why did they tamper with her brain in the first place? Like, her knowing how to use a gun is kind of optional. Like, she could have been a mole either way. I watched the whole anime, but I don't remember. It's just plot twist after plot twist. Yeah, that's why I like it. That's why she knew that Kagari was perfectly calm.
正気か今すぐ銃を下ろせこんな真似はやめろやめるのはお姉ちゃんの方だよ何世界を変えちゃいけないんだお姉ちゃんはおかしいこと言ってる
There was no hesitation in her eyes. Instead, Suzuha saw only resolve.
じゃあこのまま戦争が起きてもいいっていうのかそんなのわかんないよカガリは元の世界に戻りたいだけだもんならもう無理だ私たちはタイムマシンですでに過去に干渉してる世界線だってずれてしまってるはずだあそこに戻れる可能性は低くうるさいうるさいうるさいカガリはママを絶対に助けるんだこの世界を消すなんてダメだよ絶対にやらせないから
Kagari turned the gun towards the IBM 5100.
やめろ
Before Suzuha could stop her, she yanked down on the trigger. Again and again.
やめてくれカガリやめろ
And then Kagari jumped out of the time machine, and Suzuha never saw her again. On every night that passed, she remembered Kagari. Suzuha had spent some time looking for Kagari when she'd first come to this era, but in the end, she never found anything. But Kagari Shina, who was now 22 years old, was here in Akihabara. Suzuha was sure of it.
Oh, Mahotan! Osu!
Itari was sitting at the computer next to Suzuha and talking into his monitor. The monitor was displaying a video chat screen. On the screen was a young girl dressed in slovenly fashion. No, a proper, fully grown lady.
Ohayo.
She looks the way that I feel in the mornings. It was 8:30 p.m. at the Future Gadget Lab in Akihabara. Meanwhile, Victor Condria was an hour off from usual due to daylight savings time, and it was 7:30 a.m.
ヒヤジョーさん、大丈夫？
この時間だし寝起きっしょ。
Maho was a mess. Her hair was never combed right, but her eyes were bloodshot and her gaze was wandering. The spots under her eyes were too dark for the little bit of makeup she'd applied to cover them up. Her cheeks were sunken, which made her look even tinier than usual. On top of all that, her skin was terribly pale. She looked like something out of a zombie movie.
低血圧マホタンも燃える。
Don't say that! Normally, she would have gotten upset at Itaru's joke. But either she'd gotten used to it or simply given up, because she said nothing.
そっちの進展はどう？
なんとかオカリンが分解しちゃう前の状態に組み立て直したお。 機能はほぼ再現できてると思われ。
Yep, exactly. Exactly, Iron. Oh, they're rebuilding the time machine. That's not great. Itaru glanced towards the development room past the curtain in the back of the lab. Right now, he was working with Maho to recreate what Okabe had called the time leap machine. Oh god, okay. Well, I mean, I guess there is no guarantee that Maho is, like, under Leskinen's control at this point. Because, I mean, she didn't come with him. So that's already an upside, but, really not a fan of, anything involving the time leap machine being anywhere near Victor Congreve University right now.
うまくいかないの？
なんか安定しないっつうか、普通の電子レンジになっちゃうんだよね。
そう。何がいけないのかしらね。
オカリンにそこんところの話を聞ければ違ってくるんだけどな。
無理だよ。私たちがこんなことしているって知っただけで怒鳴り込んでくるよ。
He sure fucking would!
おじさんは恐れているんだ。世界線の収束する力というものを。あの人を説得するのは容易じゃない。
In fact, it had almost been a year since she'd first tried and failed. There was a moment of silence.
ってマホタン、もしかして寝てんじゃね？
Maho's whole body jerked and she almost fell out of her chair.
危なかったわ。出勤前なのに二度寝してしまうところだった。
つうか頑張りすぎだお。無理して体壊したら意味なくね？
このくらい平気よ。というかこれだけやってもまだ天才にはかなわないんだから。
そんなことないと思うけどな。僕はさ、魔法炭だって十分天才だと。
気休めなら不要よ。岡部さんの言っていたタイムリープ、こんなにヒントはあるのに未だに解を見つけられないんだもの。記憶データなんて膨大なものをどうやって圧縮して過去へ送ることができたのか。クリスはそれをやってのけたっていうのに。
Maho seemed upset. Well, I mean, it's hard to think clearly when you're obviously fucking sleep deprived. Take a nap! Maho seemed upset. It was obvious even through the monitor.
ああ、ごめんなさい。愚痴をこぼしている場合じゃなかったわね。今日の報告、他に何かあるかしら。なければそろそろ出勤しようと思うのだけれど。もう一つある。
There's one more. Oh, wait, no, that's a Susan Hall line. She already read that. Fuck. Now I'm doing this. Even outside of collabs, I'm fucking doing this where it's like, oh no, that's someone else's line. Susaha looked at Itaru.
前から調べてほしいって頼まれてた件について。
I can't take a nap just yet or I'll end up in a fucking repeat of Wednesday night. And I don't feel like, being tossing and turning until almost 3:30 in the morning again. Once was enough for like the next 2 months. Hopefully I go 2 months without another bout of insomnia like that. Good God. It's gotten better now that I work at a job where it's like I'm doing a lot more physical work. It's like that's the upside. The upside is that it helps me sleep because I'm on my feet, I'm lifting heavy boxes and stuff. So, I'm getting more worn out and it's easier for me to sleep when I do go to bed. The downside is that when it is hard for me to sleep, it's like, Okay, well I might have to drive for like 2 hours tomorrow. Would really suck if I was sleep deprived for that. It kind of adds an extra pressure to it now. I mean, that's why I also don't stream as late on Wednesdays as I used to anymore. It's just like, yeah, I gotta get to bed at like 10:30 to make sure that I get enough sleep to drive for the 6.5 hours tomorrow.
何か分かったの？
You do kind of the same thing? Hell yeah. I mean, I specifically do mine at a lab, which it's made it very fun going back to Steins Gate. Like, I will say also, whenever I first started working there and I first got to wear a lab coat, I'm like, whoa! That's so cool! So I had like the same reaction to lab coats as Okabe does. Which is kind of funny to think back on.
はっきりしたことはまだ。
A lab? Yeah, we do a lot of testing of like water and dirt and stuff like that. I'm mostly just like a lab assistant, so I just I fill out the paperwork whenever new samples come in. I make sure that the clients that we have get the sample bottles that they need in order to take the water and dirt samples that the analysts then test. And I also drive around, so I pick up samples, I'll drop off orders of sample bottles that people put out. I kind of just do the odd jobs around the lab. Especially more so back in the winter, because back then it was, everything was frozen, so we couldn't really, like a lot of places couldn't really test for things like outdoor water and dirt and stuff like that. So we weren't getting very many samples, so a lot of my day was actually just spent like going to different labs or different sections of the lab that weren't being used at the moment and just giving them a good clean. So yeah, I do a little bit of everything. Kind of, sort of. I don't do any of the testing. And I don't think I ever will. I was gonna say yet, but I'm happy where I am. I don't mind if I just stay here forever. As long as they'll have me anyways. It's like, I feel like my past work experience with the places that I used to work, just being like, hey, we don't have any money left, we're gonna have to let you go, bye. I feel like having that the last 3 jobs I had has kind of fucked up my ability to see this as something permanent. I mean, even during the first 3 months, I'm like, oh, this is too good to be true. Like, there's no way. There's no way I'm staying at this place. And then the 3 months ended and they're like, yeah, of course you're staying. What the fuck? What were you expecting? And I was like, I thought you were gonna kick me out. This is what's important, to have some form of fulfillment? Yes, absolutely. I've definitely found that with this job. Because my last job was very unfulfilling. It's kind of the exact opposite of what I have now. The one I have now doesn't pay the best, but I genuinely enjoy the work that I do. The last one that I had paid really well, fucking hated the work that I had to do. Absolutely despised it. It was, God. In my head, 2024 basically didn't happen. The only things that did happen in 2024 in my brain happened after that place imploded. So, otherwise it's just depressing to work to live. Exactly. I mean, that's sort of why I'm so happy to have gotten the job that I have, even though it doesn't pay the best, even though it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna have as much fun money as I used to. At the very fucking least, I don't hate having to get out of bed to go to work in the morning. My grandfather died last year also, so not a great year for me either. Damn, I'm so sorry for your loss. Like, losing a grandparent is fucking hard. I still remember when my grandpa died back when I was like 12. And, yeah, It's a rough thing to get through. But you do work through it in the end. It's not like I'm not gonna say time heals all wounds because, like, that's just a fucking meaningless platitude, but, like, it does get easier as time goes on, which, it's like, I'm really dreading losing any of my other grandparents, because, like, I'm not super close with all of them, but it would still suck if any of them were to die at this point. Like, I don't know. It's rough. Anyways, I should actually read the visual novel. I keep saying that this stream. It's funny, because I feel like last stream I didn't go on, like, any tangents whatsoever. It's like I'm making up for lost time on this one.
そう。
あちこちのネットワークに強引に侵入したりとかギリギリまではやってみたんだ。
Yeah, that's exactly it, Iron.
別に責めたりしないわ。今分かっていることを教えてちょうだい。
いや、むしろ激しく罵倒とかしてくれて OK なわけだが。
Of course you wouldn't.
父さん。
Of course you'd be like this.
早くして時間が来ちゃうから。
ほいほい。
Itaru opened a different window on the monitor. He displayed one of the text files in it. It was a record of the information Itaru and Suzuha had collected.
まず魔法団たちがホテルの地下駐車場で襲われた事件。警察の発表だと新興カルト教団の男が違法薬物を使った末にって話になってるけど、あれ間違いなく嘘だわ。
嘘？
犯人の身元は警察発表通り某大学の准教授。これはいいんだけどさ、そいつが宗教団体に所属してたっつう事実がこれっぽっちも出てこないんだよね。公安が隠し持ってる教団員のデータにもアクセスしてみたから確定。
So this kind of confirms a theory that I've had for a bit. Well, it doesn't confirm it, but and I don't even know if I even mentioned this theory on stream, and I'm sorry if I didn't, but it's like, I think the guy that tried to attack Maho and Okabe and Leskinen in, like, the, in the parking garage, I think he was also exposed to the same kind of, like, brain fuckery that Kagari has been, and then Maho was in the last timeline, in the last ending.
捏造ってことなのね。
アットチャンネルとか見てるとさ、信者っぽい人が時々書き子するんだよね。教団は無実だとか陰謀だとか。そうすると一瞬でものすごい数の教団アンチが湧いてきてフルボッコなわけ。
Damn. Alright, let's learn what a hater is. Category, internet. People on the internet with a negative opinion about a certain person or thing. They'll go wherever fans of that person or thing gather, and deliberately write things to provoke them. They often get into heated debates with fans. And beat the daylights, a one-sided battle in which the target gets the daylights beaten out of them. Yeah, you know what? Very obvious. Also, I gotta blow my nose again. Ah! Also, my monitor keeps flickering off. No! My setup is held together with duct tape and a prayer. I really need to update it just to... Ah! Next stream I'll be normal, I promise. Well, okay, I can't promise that, but I'll at least not be sick anymore. Appreciate your empathy, though. You seem to be a great person. Oh, thank you. I mean, I just try not to be a shit person. So I guess I will. I guess I will keep it that way. It's like, the way I see it, there are enough haters on the internet, I guess, now that we know what this word means because of the handy dandy tips. I don't know, there's enough negativity, there's enough people being awful to other people for no reason out there. I don't want to be one of those people.
しかもそのアンチどももっともらしい偽の証拠とかガンガン出してくるんだよ画像付きとかで
Oh, my freaking monitor, please. This is what I'm trying to read chat on. There we go. Ah.
いくらなんでもあれはちょっと異常
そうなの？私そのアットチャンネルというのをあまりよく知らないから
アットちゃん含めてさ大抵の大手サイトには工作員が張り付いてるもんなんだよしかもビジネスとしてバイト代もらってね朝から晩まで24時間ぶっ通しで
情報操作プロパガンダだね
Yeah, we know what propaganda is. That's when a British person takes a good look at something. Neither, but I find harmless trolling funny sometimes, not going overboard. Yeah, I can see that. Every time that I think about trolling, I just remember the fucking sharks are smooth Tumblr post. Just absolutely just fucking with people over and over, and then posting that one picture of the jester holding, like, on the top of a wall, holding meat over, like, a group of dogs. It just, yeah, that sums up trolling in my mind. Just fucking posting with your whole chest that sharks are smooth and not backing down. That's what trolling should be. Propaganda, an advertisement for a specific ideology, primarily used for political and religious purposes. Propaganda has been around since the time of the Roman Empire, beginning in the 20th century. Sorry, wait, what? Oh, I see. I was about to say, like, no, that's not where... That's not when the Roman Empire... That's not when the Roman Empire was around. Okay, let me take this from the top. Propaganda has been around since the time of the Roman Empire, beginning in the 20th century, particularly after the end of the Second World War. Its methods have become more insidious. One example of the new propaganda would be attempts to manipulate public opinion via mass media. Propaganda advertisements are not always true, and the most obvious of them include lies or slander towards their targets, if it's to their wielder's advantage. The freaking era of AI is pure trolling, but people use it to be more unhinged. Yeah, basically.
政治家や官僚なんかもネット世論の誘導に利用してるし、それを専門にしてる会社もあるくらいだお。
なるほど。それならわかるわ。そのあたりはアメリカも日本も同じね。
でも工作員なんて僕からしたら IP 変えてもバラバラなんで。それでチェックしてみたらあの事件すごい人数の工作員が投入されてるっぽい。どこからそんなに金が出てるんだよってレベル。
I think I have a theory. It's probably fucking Stratfor again, isn't it? It's always Stratfor. Last game it was always CERN. This game it's always Stratfor.
そう。父さんのバイト先が襲われた方の事件は？
そっちも同じ。
The police had called it a fight between foreign mafias trying to expand their territory in Japan. The media never questioned the story at all, and even people on the boards of the famously skeptical At channel believed everything they were told. That's just profiling. Why can't the villain just be daddy issues? Because unfortunately, daddy issues are not what have tortured Okabe half to death. Or maybe they are, who fucking knows? But I mean, like, on a physical level. course, there was no mention whatsoever of Russia or CERN.
でさ、試しに目撃者を装ってロシアの特殊部隊を見たってすれ立ててみたんだよね。
To be fair, Daddy Issues did torture Okabe in a roundabout way. You know, the more I think about it, you're not wrong. Because, I mean, part of what led to the events of the first game is, well, I guess that would technically be mommy issues, wouldn't it? Because, like, the whole reason why Moeka does what she does whenever she's evil is because she's just so reliant on FB for, like, any semblance of, like, self-esteem. Which you could consider that mommy issues, because she basically refers to FB as her mom. So, like, in a roundabout way, yeah, daddy issues are a factor here, or parental issues just in general. But, like, on the literal scale, there's a little bit more at play. Funny enough, that's one of the names of my cat. Mommy issues? Daddy issues? What? Please tell me that you didn't name your cat Mommy Issues. Please. Please. Please.
そしたらまあすごいのなんの炎上しすぎてびっくりしたお。あん時は思わず工作員の本名から会社名まで全部晒してやろうかと思ったっつうの。
Jesus Christ, Daru! Evidently, he'd been really irritated. It was rare for Itaru to get so angry. Or maybe it wasn't, she decided.
つまりどこかから圧力がかかっていて幕引きにされたってことね。
Spoken like a real two-chanter. Oh man, actually, that reminds me. 4chan got taken down recently, didn't it? Did it ever come back? Because a lot of people were saying, like, it might be dead for good. I'm not going there myself because, look, I've mentioned Tumblr already. It's like I'm already in one cesspool of the internet. I don't need to be in another. Hopefully, no. The evil has been defeated. I don't believe that 100%, but I do feel like it is reluctant. It's up after 2 weeks. I see. Yeah, I was about to say, it's like on one hand, like a lot of people were mentioning all the reasons why it wouldn't come back, which was like, yeah, like the security basically hasn't been updated since like 2013 or something. It just like, it runs on like a really old system and it would be really easy to hack. So there was like talk that it would be down forever, because I guess it's also like mostly just set up by like one guy from my understanding. I don't know. I kind of read all of this from, like, third-hand sources, so I don't know much about the actual situation, but yeah, fucking wild that happened.
さすがは自由の国日本だけのことはあるわ。
アメリカも似たようなもんじゃね？
違いないわね。
The two of them smiled at the joke.
つうわけで僕としてはお手上げ。
そう。それで十分よ。調べてくれてありがとう。
ヒアジョーさん、研究所から来日の許可は下りそうなの？
それがレスキネン教授の助手として連れて行ってもらえるよう何回も申請しているのだけれど、却下の連続なのよ。
レスキネン教授は今こっちに来てるんだっけ？
As a devil's advocate statement, despite the horrendous nature of most comments there, it's probably the best way to get unfiltered news and information around the world. That's fair, I could definitely see that. I just refuse to go onto it for, like, all of the other stuff. I hear that there actually is, like, a board for, like, cosplay and Lolita stuff, which I'd be interested in checking out, kind of. But I've heard that there's also a lot of like community drama that takes place there, and it's like, I don't need that. Like, I'll just stick with the blog posts and stuff that I usually read. You know, it's like if I want to see Lolita coordinates, there's a subreddit. There are tags for Lolita fashion on like every social media platform you can think of. I don't have to go to 4chan for that. I don't need to resort to 4chan in this particular instance.
Eh, 新型農園の調査でね。
You want to become a Lolita? I already am one. Have been since high school. I mean, hell, that's why my model looks the way that it does, because I was just like, hey, if I'm gonna make a recreation of myself, it's gonna be wearing Lolita fashion. I used to be a bit of a lifestyler. I can't anymore. I actually had to buy jeans for the first time in like 10 years whenever I got my job at this lab. But, yeah, I've been wearing the fashion on and off since I was like 16, I want to say. Admittedly, actually, I have a whole order that I want to make. Skirts? Yep. Well, skirts and dresses. Like, even when it came to my everyday clothes, I just didn't wear pants for like almost 10 years. It's like I was joking with my mom whenever, like, right before I started my first day at this job back in January of this year. We ended up going clothes shopping for me, and I'm like, you know what? This is a problem that I don't think anyone has ever had before, where they've had to buy t-shirts and jeans for work. It's like, you need to specifically go out and buy t-shirts and jeans because you don't have any. Okay, technically I had t-shirts, but I didn't own a single pair of pants at the time. I was just laser focused on Lolita. That's also why it's like I don't play very many AAA games, because back in high school I was like, okay, well I can spend, you know, $60 to $80, because Canada, on a brand new game. Or I could save that money and just buy a brand new blouse that I can wear for years as part of my everyday wardrobe. And every time the blouse would win. So I basically only played indie games for like years. And now it's to the point where when I do have a AAA game, I never get started because I'm like, that's too long. Like, I won't have enough time to finish this, so I'm just, I'll just set it in the backlog for now. But yeah, it is kind of hard to be a Lolita at this point because of the fucking cost of everything. Like, Lolita's always been expensive, but now it's harder to even get, like, the cheaper stuff. It's, So when it got cold, you just wear extra layers of leggings? Yes, exactly. I have gotten, for like a couple Christmases in a row, a few packs of fleece-lined leggings. And they are awesome. I'm actually wearing a pair of them right now. Honestly, like, if you are someone who wears, like, dresses and skirts and stuff, and you want to do it during the winter, either fleece-lined leggings or fleece-lined tights are the way to go. Either that, or you just double up. I don't really recommend doubling up on tights, because, especially if you're wearing a skirt, it's like, then you're putting, like, 3 different layers of pressure on your waistline. And I can confirm it's not fun. I think the most pressure I've ever had on my waistline was, I think it was like 5 layers of stuff. And, yeah, that was hell. That was hell. I'm a guy, I can't wear that, but thanks for the tips. No problem. Speak for yourself, that's what kilts are for. Alright, but enough about clothes. Since it had nothing to do with artificial intelligence, it seems Maho wouldn't be allowed to go along.
いいわ。どうしてもダメと言うなら、こっちにも考えがあるもの。
どうする気？
まさか上官の命令無視してでも正義を貫くとか？ そして悪に捕まってしまうんですね。わかります。
Sentences that just kill conversations are, I've seen that hentai before. Good God. Oh, crap. I forgot to mute. No! I'm so sorry. That was gross. Ugh. I swear to God, I haven't had to blow my nose this much since last Wednesday. Why does it come up whenever I start streaming? This isn't fair. Further sentences that kill the mood. I recognize that bulge. Oh God, yeah. That's actually worse, I think.
ねえねえ真帆たん、殺せって言ってみて。できればすごく悔しそうな顔で。
No! Come on, man!
は？父さん。
Suzuha's hand went for her back pocket.
させん。
Itaru's shoulder slumped over as he apologized. Lately, she'd been able to put a stop to Itaru's terrible jokes just by doing that. She wasn't sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing that she knew exactly how to handle him.
まあ、とにかく近々そっちへ行くわ。
わかった。日程が決まったら連絡を。それとヒヤジョーさん、出勤するならもう一度鏡を見てからにした方がいい。
Just before the end of the call, Suzuha decided to warn her. I do like how Maho's hair sticking up makes it look like she's kind of got cat ears. Maho stood up and walked towards the closet without turning off the camera. She vanished from view, but a moment later... She must have seen how terrible she looked because she let out a very unfeminine scream. They relaxed for a moment after turning off the video chat. Suzuha thought back to the time before she'd become a time traveler. She did this every time she got off the video chat with Maho.
タイムマシン開発の協力者、ヒヤジョー真帆か。
That scream is considered unfeminine? Yeah, I was gonna comment on that because it's like, no, I've definitely let out more unfeminine screams than that. It was after Maho had gone back to America that she'd volunteered to help Suzuha and Itaru with the time machine. That meant when Itaru Hashida completed the time machine 25 years from now, Maho Hyajo must have contributed in some way. But... Right. She'd never heard of her.
あんまり未来のことを言うのはまずいんだけど、父さんの仲間にそんな名前の人いなかったんだよね。
え、そうなん？
ということはさ、どこかのタイミングで開発メンバーから抜けるってことなんじゃないかな。
You know, I do like that they are tying in the fact that there are these characters that just weren't mentioned in the first game that are now, like, part of the plot. I like the way they've kind of been integrated in, because it's like, yeah, it makes sense that Suzuha wouldn't have brought up Kagari in the last game. Or in the last VN, because too much was going on. There was more important things happening. And then in this game, it's like, okay, well, now Suzuha has downtime. So she would actually go look for Kagari. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Same with this Maho thing. It's like, oh, she wasn't mentioned in, like, the Time Machine program before, and that's just kind of used to add more intrigue. It's cool. I like it.
自分の意思なのか、それ以外の外的要因なのかはわからないけど、少なくとも開発の主要メンバーじゃなかったと思う。
そうなのか。かなり頼もしい人だけどな。
こんなことを言いたくはないけど、どこかのスパイという可能性もある。
いくらなんでも真帆たんに限ってそれはないよ。
Well, you didn't see the last timeline.
ごめん。でもそういう可能性もあるっていうことだけは頭に入れておいて。言ったでしょ、第3次世界大戦前の情報戦はもう始まってるんだ。どっちにしろマシンの秘密が無駄に漏れるのは困るよ。それだけは徹底するようちゃんと注意しておいてよね。で、この先のタイムマシン開発はどう進めていくつもり？
やっぱオカリンの協力がないとな。
And that's gonna be really fucking hard to get.
結局そこなんだよね。オカリンおじさんやっぱり無理なのかな。こうなったら力ずくで。
前にそれしようとして失敗したのはどこの誰だっけ？
Yeah, you did have him at gunpoint and it still didn't fucking work, so I don't know how else you could pressure him into doing it. Suzuha pursed her lips. Even with a gun to his face, Rintaro Okabe still wouldn't get in the time machine. Get in the robot, Okabe! To be honest, Suzuha was out of options. She stifled a sigh. It didn't do any good to let herself get down.
そういえば母さんとはうまくやれてる？
な？
私そっちの方も心配なんだ。大丈夫？私が生まれてこなくなるような事態にならないよね。
Well...
なんつうの？タイムマシンよりもなんだい？
Yes!
ちょっ
Tell
と
her. Suzuha stormed over to Itaru.
困るよ父さん。
パパ頑張るからね。
いっつも口ばっかり。結局例の映画のチケットも無駄にしちゃったんでしょ？
Grandfather paradox all over again. That's what Suzuha's trying to avoid. She's like, hey, please date my mom. And Daru's like, no. And then Suzuha's like, but you like her, right? And Daru's like, yeah. And then Suzuha's like, then date her. And Daru's like, no. The most dateable mom in existence. She meant the pair of movie tickets that Mayuri and Ferris had conspired to give them at the Christmas party.
あれはさ、オカリンと吹雪氏が倒れちゃったじゃん。その後お見舞いとかでバタバタしてるうちに映画が終わっちゃってたわけで、しょうがないっつうか。
でもその後新しいチケットを用意しようとしたら断ったって聞いたけど。
誰に？
まゆ姉さんとルミ姉さんに決まってるじゃないか。
そりゃあれだお。
Gotcha.
マユシとフェイリスタに頼りきりなんて男らしくないっしょ。キリ。
で自分で何か行動に移したわけ？ダメだこれ。
Maybe this was a more important problem than the time machine. Suzuha brought her hands up to her head.
いい父さん。私いつまでもこうやってお説教できないんだからね。もうすぐ行っちゃうんだよ。
Suddenly, there was a sad look in Itaru's eyes.
そういう顔しない。約束したはずだよ。もう迷うのはやめにしようって。
For the past 6 months, Suzuha had been thinking about whether it was really right to erase this world. But in the end, it was none other than Itaru who pushed her to go ahead.
ごめん。
She couldn't bear to see her father so depressed, so she patted his broad back.
しょぼくれてないで母さんにメールして。予定の空いてる日がないか聞いて。で空いてたら映画に誘う。
ゲー、いきなりハードル高すぎ。
高すぎでも何でもいいから誘いなさい。いい？これは命令だからね。
命令って。
返事は？
さあ、イエスさあ。
Sir, yes, sir! Satisfied, she headed off to take a shower.
あ、でもその前にちょっとだけコンビニに行ってくる。
Ah, crap, am I gonna have to censor this again?
何しに？
Date my mom! This is an order! I'm imagining that one fucking Fallout 2 cutscene where the guy screams at you for forgetting your power armor, but instead of yelling at you for forgetting your power armor, it's for not dating his mom. My favorite version of that changes the guy in like the little like window to that one fucking cat crunching on kibble really hard. Oh man, that's a good fucking video. I might be able to pull that up on the just chatting screen at the end of this. Remind me though, because I will probably forget. But like, I do just have that video saved, I can just play that for you guys. Who needs power armor when you can date my mom?
いや、実は夕食がまだっつうか、今夜も徹夜になりそうだし、遅くならないうちに買い出しようと。
Still hunched over, he pointed towards the development room. He was pointing at the phone wave, name subject to change, Unit 2. Love that it's the Unit 2 and we're still saying that the name is subject to change. That was put together, but still undergoing testing.
睨まないで。なるべく太らないようなものを食べますんで、何卒お許しを。
バニラ。
はい。
私シャワー出たらアイス食べたい。バニラ。
うん、わかった。庶民がなかなか口にできない高級なやつをいっぱい買ってきてあげる。
いっぱいはいらないよ。一つでいい。
さあ、イエス。
Oh man, that's reminding me. A few streams back, people told me, like, oh, you should get Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Get Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Every time that I go to the fucking grocery store on like a Thursday or a Friday, I always forget the ice cream. And then I go back on Mondays because I usually end up forgetting stuff for work. And I see the ice cream and I'm like, this weekend for sure. I'll get this ice cream this week. Absolutely. I'm in a fucking time loop of my own making. Gotta get it so you can say stop Haagen-Dazs ice cream. God damn it. Doomch. I've really gotta fix my soundboard. And I need to get a rim shot on there. Just that this way whenever someone in my chat makes a bad pun, I can just go ba-doomch. That was enough to cheer Daru up. He took his wallet and ran out of the lab.
やれやれ。世話がかかるんだから。
Yada yada. She had just about taken off her jacket so she could take that shower. But...
Suzuha!
Huh? Every time I think about Haagen-Dazs, I'm stopped by the ridiculous price tag. Me too. That's also part of the reason why I haven't picked it up yet. It's like... Usually by the time that I think about it, it's Saturday, and I've already gotten myself, like, something else as my special little treat for the week. And it's like, I can't justify spending more money. I can't justify spending, like, $6 or $7 on a little fucking thing of ice cream. Itsuru had come back into the lab.
どうかした？
階段のところにさ、こんなの落ちてたんだよね。
Uh-oh. Oh god, I am gonna have to censor again. Itaru showed her a keychain he was holding. It was a round anime character whose color had faded to a smoky green. It was an Upa.
誰のかわかる？
まゆ姉さんじゃないの？
From Europe, I have no idea about that brand. It's basically just a pretty good ice cream brand. Kind of expensive, though. I mean, I only know it in Canadian dollars, and in Canadian dollars, everything is fucking expensive. But, like, at the grocery store near me, which is known for having, like, pretty good prices on most things, one little tub of ice cream that's good for, like, maybe 2 servings tops is, like, $6.50. It's insane. But apparently it's, like, really, really good stuff. And they do have a cookie dough one. So I want to try it. But, yeah, the price tag kind of, puts me off of it, especially because it's like, for that much, I could just buy a whole ass cake. And that cake, I would get like 5 or 6 different servings out of it. So, yeah, it's just, it's hard for me to justify. She leaned forward to take a closer look, and then felt like she was experiencing deja vu.
このウーパーどこかで
She'd seen it before. She couldn't really remember when. But her internal alarms were going off. This keychain was extremely important. Upas were common enough that you could find them anywhere. The plastic edges had worn down. The paint was faded and coming off in places. There was no dust and there were no stains. Instead, it shone brightly, as if its owner had put a lot of effort into taking good care of it. The chain was so old that part of it had snapped off. You spend more on drinks in a week? That's fair, that's fair. I feel like for me, it's because I also like to get myself a little treat after work on Fridays. Usually, like, it usually ends up being some kind of, like, fast food meal. But sometimes I order out, like, sushi's the big one for that, but it's very expensive. It's like, I can't always afford to spend, like, $45 on one meal. But yeah, it's because I do that, and because I also have to, like, buy meals whenever I go on my longer drives, it's just hard for me to justify spending that much on one dessert. Especially because, especially now, right after Easter, because I have so much chocolate stuff just in the apartment. Sushi is expensive in Netherlands as well. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I feel like sushi is expensive anywhere that's not Japan, because it's considered like an exotic food. I feel like it's expensive where I live too, because I'm in a landlocked province. So, there is no access to the ocean here. If you think sushi is expensive, try sushi. I think that the only sort of food stuff that you could consider sushi has, like, historically, only been eaten by people who don't have the money for actual food. I don't think sushi is that expensive. Then again, though, in that case, they were boiling the leather from like, boots and stuff. So I guess, maybe. Okay, if you're doubling down, I accept it. I'll just accept this as reality. Like, eat your shoe? Yeah, I mean, that was a thing, wasn't it? Where, like, people who were, like, extremely poor would, like, boil the leather parts of their shoes and eat it for, like, just anything for calories. I mean, I know they make jokes about that in Discworld. Like, there's the whole thing in Hogfather where Death is Santa, or the Hogfather, replaces all of the fancy food in like this like Discworld equivalent French restaurant with, like, mud and old boots. and they have to, like, rush to make a new menu based entirely around mud and old boots. I'll make my Jordans into sushi, or my Crocs. Okay, Crocs, I feel like you could bite through. It'll probably be more expensive because of the medical bills you'll have to pay after eating it. It depends what country you're in and how good the healthcare is there. The chain was so old that part of it had snapped off. That was probably how it got dropped.
どこだっただろう。どこかで見た。
マユシに見せてもらったとか？
そうなのかな。
She stared at the green upa in Itaru's hands. And then in her mind, she heard a young girl scream. Yep.
ママがずっと大切にしてきたウーパのキーホルダーだよ。かがりちゃんにあげる。大事にしてね。
I just heard a bunch of people cheer outside. What the hell are my neighbors doing? She gasped. A feeling of indescribable terror raced down her spine.
まさかこれかがりのか。
That was when she'd last seen it. August 13th, 2036. The day she'd gone into the time machine. That's when she'd seen the Upa. It was older and more worn now, but the more she remembered that day, the more certain she became. This was the Upa that Mayuri had given to Kagari. She'd seen Kagari holding it and crying to herself many times before.
かがりってもしかして未来のマユシの娘？
うん。
見つかったん？
いやでも向こうはこっちを認識しているんだ。
つまりどういうことだってばよ。
あいつこのラボを監視してるんだよ。
Satisfied, she headed off to take a shower. Ever since then, her careful efforts to defend the time machine had paid off, and she hadn't seen any sign of Kagari. But she never thought that she'd be watching the lab.
いやちょっと考えれば当たり前のことだったんだ。あいつは私たちがシュタインズゲートに到達するのを阻止しようとしてる。この世界をなかったことにしたくないと思ってる。ということは私だけじゃなく父さんもマークされてる。
え？僕？
まあ父さんの命に危険はないとは思うんだ。世界線の摂理を信じるなら父さんは少なくとも2036年までは生きるはずだし、ただシュタインズゲート到達を阻止するために父さんの研究の邪魔はしてくるかもしれない。
Which would be bad. A lot of bad things have been happening around Suzuha, Itaru, and Rintaro Okabe. There was some possibility that the final target was Itaru.
これからは用心のために私がいない時には必ずドアに鍵をかけておいて。
分かったお。
オカリンおじさんや母さんやマユ姉さんたちが一緒にいても絶対に開けっぱなしはダメだよ。気休めかもしれないけどドアチェーンもかけた方がいい。
でもさ、オカリンやマユシならともかくアマネシと二人きりの時にそんなことしたらなんか別の意味で怪しくね？アマネシに変な誤解されないかな？
Yeah.
それは確かに。
もしそれで嫌われでもしたら我が家のピンチだお。
Suzuha groaned softly, unsure of what to do.
父さんがもっと早く母さんと恋人になってれば何の問題もないのに。
で、結局そこへ話が戻るとか？
とにかく注意だけはしておいてよね。
Suzuha decided to keep the green hoop of a keychain. She softly ran her fingertips over it as she stared at it.
なあ鈴葉、かがりたんって血はつながってないけどマユシの娘なんだよね。
そうだよ。
あのマユシに育ててもらった子が人を襲うような恐ろしい人間になるのかな。なんか鈴葉の話とイメージが重ならないっつうか、もっと優しくてホワホワしてて可愛い女の子になってるんじゃないかなとか思ったり。
だとよかったんだけど。私も前はそうなると信じてたけど、今のかがりは多分。
From what she'd seen at the radio building, she could tell Kagari had definitely received professional combat training. It wasn't just the simple self-defense techniques that she'd learned from Suzuha when she was a child. As she'd grown up, she'd been taught the cold techniques of a killer. There was no way to know where she'd been, or what she'd been doing ever since she'd gone missing in 1998. But there was no doubt in Suzuha's mind that she was trying to ruin her plans. Alright, well, we'll leave off there for tonight. Because I've noticed the time. And I've got to start getting ready for work and stuff tomorrow. But, actually, just a sec. Gotta double save, just to be sure. Okay. Now we'll quit the game. Alright, and we'll go to the talking screen. There we are! Alright, so far it's just been a lot of the same stuff from the last timeline. But there is some interesting changes. In terms of, like, the stuff with Maho specifically. Where it's like, okay, in this timeline she's definitely not under Leskinen's control. Or at least, probably not. Because if she was, like, wouldn't she be trying to get information out of Okabe directly? Although, then again, if she told Leskinen fucking anything about the time machine, then she could still be on, like, being forced to be on his side. Because, like, maybe he just decided this time, like, oh, Okabe isn't really the main target here. Let's target the people who are actually working on a time machine right now. So that could be where this is going, but I want to believe that in this timeline, Maho has missed the brunt of the suffering. But yeah, so far, everything seems pretty similar to the last time. Again, it's been a while since the bad ending. So I'm not sure how much of this is, like, a straight repeat, and how much of it is a little bit different, but still very interesting. Dangerously happy. What the hell is your avatar? Are you a fly? Why so many eyes? So, okay. I do have a lore document, which is linked on my Blue Sky. I know it says I have a Twitter. That Twitter is still up. You can look at it if you wanna. But, you can access the lore document from both, but basically, I am a person who works for an organization known as the Weaver Foundation, and everyone who works for the Weaver Foundation just grows extra eyes. So, I'm definitely very spider-themed, but I'm not actually a spider. Like, I'm not meant to be like a humanoid spider. That'd be cool. An optometrist. Honestly, I kind of wish that I had gone into that field solely so I could make that joke. Alas, I did not. But, yeah, it does make it kind of hard to, like, sum up what I am, Because, like, a lot of VTubers can just say, like, oh, I'm a fox VTuber, or I'm a ghost VTuber, or I'm, you know, I'm like this profession VTuber, I'm this kind of character VTuber. And for me, it's like, I just got a lot of eyes because I think they look cool. It's like, without giving too much away about any kind of plot stuff that I might do in the future, it's like, I guess I could best be described as an eldritch VTuber. I've got to play more horror games too, so that this way I can, you know, play a bit more into my appearance. Maybe that is what I'll be doing after Steins Gate 0. I don't think I really have any horror games at the moment, but I'm a couch VTuber. That's fair. Identity. Yeah, that is kind of like what's hard to narrow down with me sometimes. Wait a second, why is Skype installed on my computer? The fuck? Yes, it looks cool. Thank you! Yeah, let me just see my horror, or my Steam catalog. I do have a couple things, I guess. I have, Northern Journey. I have, like, the old version of Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. Okay, well, that's another murder mystery. Let me see. I did play Yuppie Psycho on the channel, so I guess I'm good on that front. But yeah, I'm kind of a hack horror game enjoyer in that I don't really play a lot of them. I watch other people play them. Think I saw the concept before? That's fair. Like, I know that there are other VTubers who have done the, like, multiple eyes thing. I know I'm not special on that front. But, yeah, I've gotta look at more, like, horror games and stuff. Lately, I've been really into, like, listening to videos about, like, repo on whenever I'm at work, because I can listen to, like, podcasts and video essays and stuff. So I've been putting on, like, iceberg videos about repo and, like, guides as to how to be good at the game. So maybe at some point, I'll get some buddies together and we'll play that one. But yeah, I'll have to see. I don't know if Cult of the Lamb or Cultist Simulator count as horror games either. I do have Angels of Death. That one is an RPG Maker horror game. So maybe that'll be the next thing I play. I haven't decided yet. You don't really watch VTubers? That's fair. That's fair. To be honest, I really only watch the ones that I'm friends with. But yeah, it's like I remember trying to get into HoloLive EN whenever those guys were first getting like really, really popular. But it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to sit down and watch a stream. So that's why I'm very appreciative of all you guys for sitting around hanging out. And yeah, speaking of streams, I gotta figure out how I want to end this, because I don't think I have any real housekeeping to do at the moment. So I guess I'll just go into the usual end of stream spiel. So if you're new around here and you like what you saw, I recommend hitting the subscribe button and hitting the bell icon. You'll be notified whenever I go live next. Also, you should follow me over on Blue Sky. I know that the thing underneath the chat says Twitter. I don't use it anymore. I kind of got sick of getting notifications for people I don't follow. So, and also just constantly seeing posts from people I don't follow. So now I'm over on Blue Sky. And it's the same URL, it's still Cipher Novella. You can go there. You can not only get my announcements, but you'll also hear whenever, if a stream is going to be late, if a stream is going to be canceled. If I'm on a different VTuber buddy's stream, and I won't be streaming my side, I'll post the links to that on Blue Sky, and I also just post little shit posts every once in a while. It's very occasional, but, like, I do still do that sometimes. I should really post on Blue Sky more. The important thing is it's fun to bully the streamer. Yeah. I've watched thousands of hours of League streams over the years. Damn. I get that, though. It's like, to be honest, if I would not want to see the watch time for even like specifically like the only streamers that I watch that aren't like VTubers I've collaborated with before. There's Uo's Lab over on Twitch. I've only caught a few of his streams, but they are so fucking chaotic, it's great. He's basically just a real-life mad scientist, just fucking around and making stuff. The only other streamers that I really follow are from Radio TV Solutions, and if I could see even just the stats of how many hours of Radio TV Solutions streams and VODs I've watched over the years, oh boy, that would be a high fucking number, even if you don't include the VODs that I watch to help me sleep. But yeah, so that's all the places you can follow me. Also, since I do know that a few new people are here, I want to quickly shout out the fact that me and my friend Valerie Valkyrie do a lot of collabs. I would highly recommend if you want a thing to watch after the stream is done. We're currently playing through Disco Elysium. I have all the VODs for that on my channel. And we also played through the first game of Great Ace Attorney. So that is over on the Valerie Valkyrie channel. I don't think I have a link to her in the description, but yeah, just Google Valerie Valkyrie. You'll find those VODs. Highly recommend them. They were super fun. They were really funny. But yeah, enough recommending that you watch more stuff and stay up late, because very, very irresponsible of me as a streamer. But yeah, that's basically everything. So have a good night, everyone. Sweet dreams. And I will see you all next week. Goodbye!